Hello and welcome to Flory Models Friday Roundup Show. Here we are with you on the 24th of September 2021. Busy week this week. As you know, it's a little bit of a week of two halves for me because first part of the week we're having the new road put in. So literally it's outside my window, so there was no way I could do any filming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday purely because of just the noise, not to mention the smell of tarmac, which actually isn't too bad. I'm getting quite addicted to that. But anyway, that's all done and completed now, so normal service can resume. So we say beginning of the week was a little bit all over. I found myself doing lots of editing, catching up with all the stuff, obviously manufacturing of washes and sanders because I just got time to do it, so I got on with that. So all in all, I'm a little bit ahead. As you know, the Vulcan, which was finished some weeks ago, you're still trawling your way through, I know. So obviously the first part of that went up, that was part 10. And again, it's quite interesting because I like to show with every different, build that I do, different techniques. So this one down in here was all about how to, it's a hard edge camo. The Vulcan has this hard edge camo system onto it. So traditionally I might use like a worm tack way or, even by just freehanding it. But when it's a hard edge, you can't go wrong with actually taping it down. So down in here, we showed you basically taking the kit plans, expanding them up to 145% on the scale thing, makes it pretty much right, and then 40mm Tamiya tape over the top, and then we just traced it, and then obviously we cut it out, we stuck it onto the Vulcan, and we sprayed on the green. And to be honest with you, it is that thing where it turned out really nicely. It's not a problem. It's one of those ones where it sounds more complicated than it is. Once you know the size to blow it up to, you're good to go. So literally what I did, I got a scanner, photocopier, printer thing out there, so literally just scanned it onto it, blew it up by 145%, and away we go. It's not 100% because obviously it doesn't take into account curves. So my hat is off to these companies who do like work out the curves and everything else. And that's why what you'll see obviously in the next part is we had to adjust the ones down here on the spine just a little bit because they weren't quite right. So we went along and we did those. Then we went on really to talk about the gear, which is my idiot's proof way of doing gear. It's just the simplest way. Why I spent literally decades of modelling going along and literally having to hand paint on wheels and things like that is beyond me. So now I use a little template system, and we pop them down and we do the gear like that. It's very straightforward, very easy way of doing that one. So that is all covered up there in that particular build anyway. So it is a lot of fun on that one. And then on, where are we? Tuesday? Again, it wasn't a full show, it's more like a catch-up show really with you, purely because obviously the roadwork's going on. Whilst they were on lunch, I dived down in here, fired up the cameras and somewhat put a quick show together all about that one. And then in here as well, because I did it in the morning before we started, was this little lump. So this is the review for this one. This is for me. I'm going to start on this, probably not next week, it'll be the week after. My entry into the Conrad Bullersig that we've got going on at the moment, which will take us to the end of the year, purely because I haven't built a submarine, a real submarine. I know Nathan gave me that tiny 1/1 billionth scale one to do as a bit of a joke for a live show we did a few years ago. But generally a submarine, I haven't done one in decades. So again, it's all about black, isn't it, with these things? And again, like I explained in the video and on Tuesday, we were saying, even the box art is very reminiscent of what we're going to try and achieve with this one, because it's not black on the box art. It's got blues, it's got purples into this one. It's got different hues of colour. And I think that's the best way to sort of break up blacks and stuff, because as you can see on the back, it's pretty boring, isn't it? It's all or nothing with these particular kits, but should be something interesting. It's not that small, it's the same size as this box. Literally it touches, it fits. In fact, it's a little bit bigger if I remember rightly. Yeah, this thing is almost 50 centimeters long, so it's a little bit more than this box is. So should be very interesting. So going to start that in a couple of weeks, and again I think it'll be quite a good one to look at from a point of view is it's got massive seam lines because this top deck system has to glue down, so that that's not going to be perfect. You've obviously got the conning tower to be fitted on, and you've got two hull halves come together as well. So there's going to be big seam lines on this one as well that are going to have to be absolutely blended perfect to give us that nice effect. So that would be quite an interesting build. And then the black stuff. So although we've got none of this sort of messing around with interiors and things like that, from a build point of view, I think it'd be quite an interesting one to have a look at as we make our way through with that one. Tuesday was the PM show. Obviously me and Matt and Andy, usual fun and giggles and everything else. It's quite a long show, that one. I think if I remember rightly, it's just over an hour. Talking obviously about what's going on in the hobby industry, some of the things that are going on with different manufacturers, what we're expecting to come out, what we're hoping to come out, and probably what won't come out as well. So that was our usual sort of Wednesday show if we make our way with that one. Last night was obviously the live show where we were discussing Edard. What we'd like to do is showcase topics and things like that each week these days. days. So we were discussing Edard and really how well they've done. You know, at the end of the day, they've only been going technically just under 30 years, but really they've only been going, you know, the last 20 years they started to get into the kit side of it and really pushing up, and in the last 10 years they've just taken off and gone absolutely mad, and kudos to them. And I was sort of tipping my hat really to the, you know, Eastern European companies of engineering, of tool making, things like that, because the kits are absolutely beautiful. And then obviously we were discussing with the Flory family as well, you know, the pros and cons to it. So we were looking at the different kits that they've brought out. Obviously we're talking about sort of the weekend editions, the Profi Pack, the limited editions, the Royal class ones, and then obviously their reboxing strategy of all the kits that come out with it. So it's quite an interesting little topic on there. And then obviously at the back end of the show we were answering your questions as well. But again, it wasn't all good. Don't think we were just sugarcoating and sunshine up a company's rears. Clearly not, because the decals these days are awful. Don't like them, just don't get on with them. Anyway, you could go back and you can watch that one. That one is up with you right now. And then that brings you up to today. So we've got Airfix, which is again with the Vulcan, which is part 11. And as I said before, this particular part, is about unmasking it and fixing it and going through the motions and the wheels and the various things onto that one, where the other one was more about the actual painting it on Monday down in here. There is, I think, going to be another 3 parts to this one still to come, and then like I spoke about on the Tuesday show, I think I said about it, I'm going to do a bonus version, and that's weathering it, because at the end of the day that's a straightforward clean build, and then we're going to weather it. I'm going to knock it back a peg or two, shall we say, on that one. So again, that'll be a bonus feature separate to the build, because the whole point of that Vulcan build was for a sort of, you know, a new modeler coming into the hobby and explaining the technical difficulties of putting it together and a few shortcuts, so hopefully getting you a Vulcan together really quickly. So again, if you're not into modelling or you're new to modelling, that's definitely a good one to watch, because it's quite a good build at the end of the day, and I probably cover as much as I can with the time that we've got. So very nice one on there. Down in front of me, you can probably see a Spitfire. So this is part of the Bitesize series that we're working on at the moment. So obviously I'm going through all the different aspects and redoing the sort of tutorial section, if you like, on the Flory Models site. Because again, like everything, technology, tools, personal preferences, they change over time. So a lot of those ones there are now sort of 10 years old. Some of them are out of date. You can't even get some of the products anymore. So what I've done is I'm putting together a new series of videos, which is hopefully going to cover all the basics. You know, we talk about obviously what we call the 2 stages of the hobby. You've got the construction stage, which is, you know, obviously you need to learn about fillers and sanding, rescribing, re-riveting, basic construction, all the bits and pieces, and basic weathering as well. So this is what these videos are going to cover, and then obviously the later ones is more what I call the art side of it. So it's obviously the airbrushing and painting and heavy duty weathering and stuff like that. So that's the other side. So this week I've been working on the actual construction side of it. So we've spoken about this particular kit, and again, you know, when you'll see it next week, you'll see, because I actually get my Tamiya kit, which is around about 120, 130 quid now for that Tamiya kit, and this is a 35 quid Revel one, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's got all the bits and pieces you need, especially for somebody who's new to the hobby, because they're great kits for starting out on, and definitely for the pros as well, because there's nothing wrong with this kit. And I think if we spend a little bit of time on this one and we add a little bit of detail to it, we can probably make something on a par with what we've got over there. And then the plan of action is at the end of this, by teaching you the basics, I'm going to put it right next to the other one, and we're going to see what the differences are, and hopefully there won't be that much, because again, I built that Tamiya one when it first got released probably over 10 years ago now, and so my tools and my skills and everything else as that has improved as well. So hopefully we'll be seeing the difference. But this particular one, as I said, it's a bite-sized version of, so it's not a full-on warts and all covering every single stage of the build. So for this particular one, we just talk about basics of construction of the cockpit, putting that together, and then we move straight on to actually bringing 2 halves of a fuselage together, talking about how to glue about it, what glues to use, when and where, things like that. And then obviously on this one we had a little bit of filler work to do, so we spoke about obviously the filler, what fillers to use, when and where, and then obviously how to deal with it, so sanding them back afterwards. We speak a lot obviously about sort of ghost seams, as I call them, or those nasty little depressions that come along afterwards and stuff like that. And I've literally just finished polishing this one to show it to the camera, so you can get a proper good look at it to see how seamless you can make it right the way through. And then again, we're going to talk about this afternoon while I was filming the trickiness of when you get seams down in here, they're always a pain, and how to deal with them and what to use and so forth and so on. So that's the point of it. And then this video will then go along for the construction into that bite size section. You'll be able to go directly to the part of that particular build as well, so it should be quite handy for references. And then we're going to do the same as well with a Mustang, and we're going to pop that one together, and then obviously talk about the differences on the painting side of it from doing camo work and the different ways of doing that, and then metal finish work as well, and using metallizers and silvers and when to use them, when not to use them. So that's the thing for that. So those are all coming along really, really well. I'm hoping by next week those will be pretty much all done and in the bag. Got loads of editing to do. I'm going to be doing those over the weekend as well. So on Tuesday show next week, we're going to start put together all the bite-sized videos for the construction side of it, and then obviously the airbrushing one has already started anyway as we make our way through. So that's my point really. The next, probably going to spend another 2 weeks doing all of these, and then I'll be pushing on back to normal service will resume. But hopefully, even the guys who've been doing modelling for the last sort of 30-40 years, you'll pick some out from this as well, because it may be just some way of doing it that's a little bit different to you, or a greater understanding of a particular product, of when to use it, where and when, and things like that, and when not to use it, more importantly. So like I've always said, and especially it's for me as well, is that everything changes. The hobby is so organic, it's growing all the time, and obviously new products coming out, new techniques, learning new things. Like I've always said, you can always teach an old dog new tricks, and now I'm getting completely old. I'm still learning stuff every single day as we make our way through. So from my point of view, I think it's always good to go back, have a look, and then obviously my point of my job literally is to spread the love about modelling and everything else. So if I found an easier way to do it, trust me, you'll always be the first to know. The other thing as well, I have had a package, and I do have to thank Darren, who's one of our members, who has sent me a bottle of stuff we can't get. It's unopened, so we're going to do a live unopening here of products. Now, again, this goes back to that thing about certain products we can't get in the UK for various reasons, and this is Mark Fit Strong. So this is Tamiya's decal setting solution. So we're obviously going to sniff it, because that's what we do here. If you can hear that sound, everyone, that's a beautiful sound of a Spitfire that we've had flying around here for the last week, which has been absolutely gorgeous to see that thing flying over the house. Actually, do you know what? That doesn't smell anything like I was expecting it to smell. I thought that would smell like vinegar, like most of them do, but that actually smells like thinners. So, but anyway, thank you very much, Darren, for that one. It has arrived safely. I'll shoot you a message after the show. It turned up yesterday, but I wasn't here, so I've literally opened it this morning. But yes, very, very nice. I will give it a go with my next ones. Apparently everyone says these are great. But again, this is one of those products that we can't get in the UK. Apparently it's a labelling issue. So the UK importer for this type of product doesn't bother, because it's just, it's almost impossible to put the labelling that's required onto these. You might notice some products, I don't know if I've got, because a lot of mine come direct, but have extra labelling on. There's a good example of one on these, so they all have to be relabeled. Like this one's got it bent round here and everything else to get it into the country, because obviously labelling issues are different in the UK than to where they are in other places. And again, it's a bit like we can't get Tamiya's Mark ones, their washy one that goes on, and the panel liner, that's the one. So unfortunately, that's another one we can't get in the UK. But anyway, I will give it a go whirl the next time I'm doing it, and we can put it up to all the other ones I've got over here and see how that one works out. But big thank you for Darren, he sent me that one, and yes, much appreciated. Anyway, over to the forum. We've got various things going on with the group build down in there. So the Out of Africa group build is currently ongoing, as we know, down in here. We've got 135 entries down in there, which is very good indeed, and we've got 29 finished. So if we just pick the last 2 to be finished, that Spitfire's right over here doing lovely rolls. The sound of a Merlin engine, absolutely beautiful. Anyway, down in here we've got Lee, and Lee has finished. This is the Special Hobby Nomad Mark 1 in 1/72. Beautiful indeed. I should shut up and let you listen to the Spitfire, because it's far better than me. Very nice indeed. With the actual yellow underside as well. Very good. Excellent job. Well done, Lee, on that one. And then what else have we got down in here? We've got a Sabre. So down in here we've got the this is an F4 F6 conversion. This is the South African one. Nice photos as well, beautiful clean photos. It's not often you see a sabre in camo. It works, doesn't it? I think everyone would agree. That looks absolutely fantastic. Very, very nice indeed. Very cool. That hanger background, absolutely very, very fitting. Looks fantastic. Beautiful job, as we can see down on there. So that's really, really good job. Well done down in there. So again, well done, Andy. That's absolutely beautiful. Remember, keep your entries all coming in. On this particular one, so we've got lots of other ones, as you can see down in here, loads and loads of entries down in there, so very good. Don't forget, you got to the end of the year on all of these, so when we get to the end of the year, obviously things are changing next year with the group builds and SIGs anyway, but very, very good job down there. The Comrade Buller one, which is very, say it's got 126 entries in already. It's only been running a couple of weeks. We've got 9 finishers down in here as well, so congratulations. Remember, you don't get anything for a SIG apart from a pat on the back, and you get yourself a video on the end as well. So well done to everyone there. So last ones that have just been completed. We've got Witcher, and this is the MiG-3 148 scale trumpeter kit. Very nice, nice camo. Very nicely done. It's always amazing with the MiG-3, they sit so far back, that huge, it makes you wonder they can see absolutely anything trying to take off in this thing. That's why they took off in giant fields. So very, very nice, good job. Nice paint work on that one as well with the camo pattern. Beautiful looking with the actual red stars on there as well. So congratulations to him on there. We've also got a 72nd flanker. This is the trumpeter kit again, down in here. This is from Alex. Beautiful, very nice. I built this kit as well. It's a really, really nice kit. I know obviously, you know, trumpeter stuff, sort of early stuff especially, can be a little bit, but their 72nd stuff is beautiful. Panel lining on this one is absolutely gorgeous. Very nicely painted and weathered. Looks absolutely great. Well done there. Nice heat exhaust as well. Nice photography as well, nice clean photos. So well done, Alex, that's absolutely beautiful. Great work in there. Lovely weapons fit under there as well. So there we go, that's down in there. Loads of other ones. We've got Armour Hobbies, Yaks down in there. I think Nathan's doing one of those at the moment. We've got MiGs, you might imagine lots of MiGs. We've got MiG-17s finished down in here, some biplanes, some Zvezda, got a T-80 tank, loads of stuff down in here. Well done to everybody who's taking part in all of those. So again, well done to everyone. Remember, if you've got your entries, remember we need all the details, so please put a manufacturer, please put a link to your build thread as well, so it just makes things a little bit easier. And don't forget, they're all supposed to be fun. If it's really giving you grief at that point, put it to one side. It's not worth stressing yourself out just to get a medal at the end of it and things like that. Anyway, that is about it from me. Just to say a couple of bits of information. Next weekend, one for your diaries, make sure it's all clear, we've got Flory Fest, which is basically like our version of Telford, as you might imagine, that we did last time. So it's basically like a modelling weekend. You might have seen where we've done them before for our turkey shoot one. It's really in the same sort of vein as that. So we'll be starting on Saturday around about 10 o'clock, and we'll run to lunchtime. We have a quick break for lunch, come back in the afternoon. Then we'll be with you in the evening as well. And then during that time, obviously we'll be doing a little bit of modelling, we'll be doing some demoing, we'll be talking and chatting, obviously answering your questions right the way through. So it's a full day of modelling and things like that. And then on Sunday, exactly the same, we'll be with you Sunday morning and then Sunday afternoon as well, right the way through. And again, we're going to have a couple of special guests come in as well and talk to us and various things like that. So again, it'll be a full-on thing. And then on top of that, of course, we're going to be doing special discount prices on all the Flory models range of everything we do. So washes, sanders and pigments. So be some really extra special deals on those as well. So if you are thinking about it, I'd wait, because obviously you're going to get yourself a big discount. And the same goes for the PM store as well. So the PM store will be offering special show weekend prices. We've got deals, we've got various giveaways, all the bits and pieces on there as well. So keep tuned with all of those. And again, some of those will be on time specials. They'll only be available for a day. Other ones will be for the complete weekend right the way through. So if you want to get yourself some bits and pieces, kits, things like that as well, keep an eye out for that. So that's going to be a really special one. And because of that, to be honest with you, the PM store, the specials page hasn't changed. We're leaving up exactly what we've had here before. So obviously, if you've got any of these will probably change. So these will come off and then all the new ones will go on. So if you do want to go along to the PM store and have a look at obviously some of these down in here, grab them this week, because again, as I was saying, a lot of these are going to change out for obviously the new ones that will be coming in as extra special show price weekends ones, which will start, I think they're probably going to start around about 9 o'clock on next Saturday morning, and then they'll run right the way through to late on Sunday night. So again, if you're thinking I might fancy one of those, that's a nice price, something else like that, then please do grab it now, because it may change. Okay, and again, same with the new arrivals. Not much happening this week. If you've seen the Wednesday show, you would have seen it. Again, it seems to be very, very quiet out there on new arrivals, but obviously we've got all of those. And then just last to mention, we do have the new range of MIG products, which is the washes. So we've got all the MIG washes in store right now. So we've got the entire range of all of that is in. And then also we've got the 502s, which I think were the old MIG pigment sets. So all of the pigments and that and the fixers and everything else are in stock as well. So as you see, we've got all of those down in there. So if you want to grab any of those, they are now available at the PM store right the way through on that one. So again, lots and lots of stuff going on, as you can imagine. Next week, I'm going to be pushing on obviously heavily with these, trying to make our way right the way through, and then obviously getting ready for the weekend, because it will be a full-on weekend as well. So if you want to get involved with that one, we'll be live, of course, right across the usual thing with the Flory family in the Flory chat room, but also we'll be live on YouTube and obviously on all the social media platforms as normal. So if you want to obviously post your photos up in there, we can have a look at them and all the bits and pieces. It'll be love to have you along on there. Again, full details will be next week going up, but basically it's going to run Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening for the quiz night, which grab yourself a drink and have a giggle, and then Sunday same thing again, right the way through. So hopefully you can join us for that one, because obviously this year we're not doing Telford. Flory Models isn't going to Telford, and obviously PM Models isn't going to Telford. So this is our sort of version of it, so we can interact and get to speak to you guys as well on that particular one. As always on a Friday, I'm going to leave you with your great work from the gallery. So until next week, everybody, happy modelling. Take care.
I was not ready to fall in like I'm wasted.